Now we turn to our special report on the police officers who serve and protect, and marking many who are leaders in their field. Right now, investigators are still probing the motive that drove that Nashville suicide bomber. 6 officers are being hailed, though, as heroes for evacuating residents at the scene and saving lives.
I want to thank the police department in Nashville, particularly those 5 police officers who worked so quickly to evacuate the area before the explosion occurred, risking their own lives.
They didn't think about protecting themselves. They thought about the citizens of Nashville and protecting them. Had they not made their efforts, we'd be talking about the tragedy of people and lives lost.
For all the debates and controversies in our public life today, there's wide agreement and unity on one thing there: heralding those clearly heroic actions by those police officers. And it's a reminder that even as the debate over U.S. policing continues, with hard and significant evidence about police misconduct and racial profiling, there's also no single story to tell about the roughly 800,000 Americans who serve as police officers. That is just one reason why every year here on The Beat and in my work as MSNBC's chief legal correspondent, we take a brief accounting of some of the officers who died on the job this year. We look at their lives, their service, and we think for a moment about the families and communities that mourn what is right now, this very week, the first holiday season without them. We're talking about officers who lose their lives protecting us in all the different ways that officers face these daily risks. Now, we do this reporting every year with the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, which tracks this all year and also does work to support officers and their families. Their data shows 2020 is one of the deadliest years for police officers in America in nearly 50 years. We have had years where violence takes the lives of many officers. This year, their work, their presence in the community, made many police officers more exposed to a risk that, of course, took over our whole world this year: the coronavirus pandemic, which has now driven the officer death rate to its highest since the year of the September 11th terror attacks. As you can see here, 242 officers died in 2001. And so far here in late December, you see the spike: 210 officers dying this year. Here is how the leader of the Officer Down Memorial page put it: by the end of this pandemic, it's very likely COVID will surpass 9/11 as the single largest incident cause of death for law enforcement officers. Now, the estimates are that 179 officers died of COVID this year alone. That's more than the total number of officers who died in the line of duty last year, for example. Here, we're going to show you their faces. Each one a public servant. Each face you see here is a person who's now left behind a family and friends and stories. There's no way to even begin capturing, discussing, reporting on each of these lives. But when we look at what they've done, when we take a moment, that's why we're leaving this up on the screen for you right now, to just sink in what their work and lives meant, and how from our reporting and from the stories of their friends and family, we've heard about, yes, the tragedy, but also the inspiration, the uplift, as well as the heartbreaking end. Take one, for example, tonight, Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon. He spent 3 weeks battling COVID on a ventilator just this month and died of the coronavirus last week. Now, he had served 45 years in law enforcement. He had braved so many other threats to then be felled by this one. And people tell us Napoleon was known and loved in the community. He also led a high-profile investigation into the attack on Olympic skater Nancy Kerrigan. And the type of work he did wasn't only recognized by people in his community, which was important to him. It was also recognized for his service by everyone from President Obama to Michigan Governor Whitmer, who said she was keenly aware of how his personality and gregarious love for people was key to how he led.
I am here, and I am ready to serve you.
First responders are part of the priority targets for the vaccine, given their essential work and their regular exposure. But of course, the vaccines did not come soon enough for Sheriff Napoleon. Mourners attending a public viewing for him this week, lines of people outside a funeral home in the December cold gathered before those doors even opened. It's just, of course, one person, one of these 210 officers who pay the ultimate price. Others died this year of other police fatality causes like gunfire and car crashes. COVID, though, the main killer. So as we take a moment to, of course, just learn briefly about one of them, we hope there is here some measure of proportion to think about 209 others, and then their hundreds and thousands of family, friends, and community members left behind. This all comes in a year where there has been so much loss, it is hard to comprehend it. You know, there are times when all of us may want to just turn away from all of this death, to just move on. So tonight, we take this brief moment to turn towards it, to face the lives and these deaths, and to remember and honor those who serve. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.